Things have their uses, but the Chinese junks, they had to have ropes, you had to have sails, and they invented paper from this plant. There's one town in California, that's an oak, and it's an evergreen oak. Small, leathery leaves, hot climate, tough, has a root that'll go down 160 feet to find water. In California, before white men came, these trees grew all over the place and rained acorns every season to feed animals. The Spanish came and cut them down and built things. Then white men came and cut them down and built things. One town called itself after this tree. This is an evergreen oak. There's one in Warrigal in front of the courthouse. Not this tree, not this species, but it's a holly oak, a leaf like holly, tough, evergreen. There's a Virginia live oak. There's a bunch of them just over there. There's one in a row here. It's from Virginia down to North Florida and over to Texas. Area of 2,000 miles where they used to grow. They can get 3 meters in diameter. They can cover half an acre. You can build a whole house out of one tree. You will not find them that size anymore. This one is the California holly oak. And one town called itself Hollywood after the tree. But the tree grew over vast areas. And Hollywood now has a reputation for other things. You can't smell things on the camera, but if the camera people wanted to come forward and have a sniff of something, that's a giant mugwort. I think it's from Russia. And it's one of the artemisias, like the wormwoods. It has some uses. You could rid your... let's go back 10 steps. You could rid your horses of internal parasites using the nuts of the horse chestnut. All the armies in our past that had horses had men caring for the horses, and women too, perhaps. And they knew enough to carry medicine for the horses. Horse chestnuts contain a glycoside. If humans eat them, they will get sick, but you can crush them, leach out the glycoside, grind up the starchy seed, cook it and eat it, and it has been eaten in every time of famine, scarcity, or war. Sweet, edible chestnuts from Spain, from China, from Japan, from America, all different species. You can just roast them and eat them. In fact, you can eat them raw. You can eat a potato raw. But isn't it so much nicer if you dice it, bake it with milk and butter and herbs and things, All these things can be eaten. This one, the mugwort, if you eat it in small quantities, it will rid you of worms. And you think, I don't have any worms. People used to have worms. They all had worms. We've all had some parasites. There's many things you can use. Here is a feijoa. I think one of the cameras is sheltering under a red oak, and right behind it, 10 feet, is a big feijoa, and I think they're flowering at the moment. In fact, I should go and get a flower, because if you didn't know, the flower bracts, we see them as petals, but technically they're not, but the bracts or petals of the feijoa flower are edible, sweet, perfumed, delicious, eaten in salads in Brazil where they come from. And yet they're related to our gum trees. They're in the myrtle family, Myrtaceae. And that's because South America, which is in that direction from here, well, it's in every direction really, but in that direction, a long way away, used to be attached to the coast of Australia when there was once one huge piece of land.